I'll never forget the sound of metal clanging against my fence that morning, sharp, cold, and wrong. The sun hadn't even risen fully when I stepped outside with a mug of coffee, only to see three men in orange vests hammering steel poles into the dirt around my property. "My ranch, my land. Hey, what are you doing?" I shouted, setting the mug down so hard it cracked on the porch rail. One of them, a tall guy with a clipboard, didn't even look up. HOA directive. He said flatly, "We're putting up the new perimeter fence." I frowned, heart thudding in my chest. "There's no HOA here," I told him, but he smirked like he'd heard that line before, and that was when I noticed at the banner on his truck, Oak Valley Homeowners Association Enforcement Unit. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from, because you won't believe what they tried to pull next. I walked closer, my boots crunching on the gravel, and my voice came out calm but firm. "This is private property. I didn't authorize this." He finally met my eyes pale blue and dismissive and said, "Sir, this land falls under the new HOA expansion zone. You'll be receiving a notice in the mail." My stomach turned. Expansion zone, that was impossible. I'd owned this ranch for 7 years, free and clear. The title deed hung framed in my office. My name right there, Derek Caldwell. Still, they kept working, fencing me in like I was some kind of trespasser. My horses started whinnying from the corral, nervous from the noise. It made me feel small, like I was losing control of everything I'd built. I called out again, louder this time, "You're trespassing." But the man with the clipboard shrugged. "Take it up with the HOA board, sir." He pointed toward a woman standing by a white SUV down the road, a blonde in sunglasses and a pressed blazer, holding a walkie, talkie like she was commanding troops. I stormed toward her. "You the one in charge?" I asked. She smiled, too sweet to be real. "I'm Meredith, HOA president. We're standardizing Oak Valley property lines. You'll thank us later, it'll raise your property value." My blood boiled. By fencing me off my own pasture, I shot back. Her smile didn't fade. "Oh, the pasture's under community oversight now. You can submit a request to use it once we're done." That's when I realized what they were doing. They weren't fencing my property, they were stealing it, one metal post at a time. My dogs barked wildly from the porch as I tried calling the sheriff's office, but Meredith's smug tone cut through the air. "You'll want to reconsider that, Mr. Caldwell. We already spoke to county zoning." She was lying. I could see it in the way her jaw twitched when she said it. Still, her men kept drilling, and I stood there in disbelief as my land, my grandfather's land, was swallowed behind their silver fence. The next morning, the sound of drills woke me again. Only this time, the fence was complete, an 8-foot steel wall that circled my entire ranch. I couldn't even drive my truck out. The only gate, a thick iron door, had a padlock on it. A brand new lock with the HOA logo etched right into the metal. My heart sank when I realized what they'd done. They'd boxed me in like a prisoner. I called the sheriff again, and this time Deputy Harris came out. He was an old friend of mine, but the look on his face told me this was going to be complicated. "Derek," he sighed, "they've got paperwork. It's messy, something about a zoning transfer and unpaid community dues." I barked out a bitter laugh. "Community dues for land I've owned since 2017. He shrugged helplessly. "You might need a lawyer." By noon, a small crowd had gathered near the road, neighbors whispering, phones out, recording the scene. Meredith was there too, giving interviews like she was on the evening news. "We're ensuring compliance," she said to one camera. "No exceptions, no favoritism." Her eyes flicked toward me when she said that last word. I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to shout. I could hear people murmuring, "He's the only black ranch owner out here." I felt their eyes, their judgment, their curiosity. It wasn't just about land anymore, it was about control. About making me feel like I didn't belong. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, surrounded by silence and papers, deeds, receipts, letters. I combed through every line until I found something, a loophole. The property next to mine, the one where the HOA had set up their security station, was actually foreclosed land, no owner, county held. I stared at the document for a long time, then called my lawyer. "Can I buy it?" I asked. He checked, then said something that made my pulse quicken. "You can, and it includes the access road leading to their new gate." I smiled for the first time in days. If I bought that plot, I'd own the only road and the only gate key. The sale went through faster than I expected. Maybe fate was on my side. I got the deed notarized, filed it, and the next morning I drove back with a locksmith. The HOA guards tried to stop me, but I flashed the paperwork. "This gate's on my property now," I told them, and the look on Meredith's face was priceless shock melting into panic. "You can't do that," she snapped. I handed her a copy of the deed, already did. The locksmith clicked the padlock open, then replaced it with my own heavy-duty lock. I slipped the only key onto my chain and turned to face the cameras that were back again, catching every second. By evening, the news had spread across the whole county. Local rancher outsmarts HOA, one headline read. I didn't plan on making it public, but once the footage went viral, there was no stopping it. Reporters started calling. Neighbors who'd ignored me for years suddenly wanted to apologize for the misunderstanding. Meredith showed up again 2 days later with 2 men in suits. "We need access through the gate," she demanded. I stood firm, arms crossed, not without written permission. I said. One of the men, her lawyer, stepped forward. "You're obstructing HOA property." I chuckled. "You mean my road?" His jaw tightened. I showed them the title again. Every stamp and signature clear as day. "Gate's mine, land's mine, fence yours, enjoy being locked out." They tried calling the county, but my lawyer had already filed the boundary corrections. Legally, the HOA couldn't touch the road without trespassing. For the first time, they were the ones trapped stuck outside the fence they built around me. The poetic justice of it all hit me hard. I remembered how small I'd felt that first day, being ignored, dismissed, fenced in like I was invisible. Now, they were the ones staring through metal bars. Meredith's perfect hair and fake smile couldn't hide her frustration. "We'll appeal this," she said coldly. I nodded. "Go ahead, but next time make sure you know who owns the gate." Over the next few weeks, the HOA influence began to crumble. Homeowners started questioning the fees, the rules, the authority Meredith claimed to have. The county eventually launched an investigation into her operations, misuse of funds, unauthorized zoning extensions, falsified permits. Turned out the expansion zone was a lie. Meredith had fabricated it to inflate property values and secure kickbacks from developers. When the news broke, she resigned quietly, but not before I saw her one last time driving past my ranch. Eyes hidden behind those same sunglasses, her fence rusting in the background. Now when I walk my property, I can't help but smile at that locked gate. It stands there as a reminder, a symbol of what happens when people try to take what isn't theirs. I didn't just win back my land, I proved that no amount of false authority could fence in someone's dignity. The air feels lighter now, the horses calmer, the sunset's brighter. I hear the wind whistle through the old posts they left behind, and it almost sounds like freedom whispering through steel. And every time I pass that gate, I give the padlock a little tap and whisper, "Only key, only gate my land."